Beletahunter Productions Publishing. Book Club Recommendations and Excerpt Reading. An agenda will be a brief welcome from me, a platform description about the day's discussion. I will present the book title. I will talk about the book's genre. I will give a little bit about the book as a book description. I will do an excerpt reading, and I will do a summary Q&A wrap up. Welcome to Beletahunter Productions Publishing. My name is Tanya Hunter. I'm the one facilitating this learning today, as well as the one reading the excerpt. I hope that you enjoy this presentation. Thank you. I routinely make book recommendations for a reading. I always like to recommend the books that I've written for you to read. However, I often do other books as well. But for this platform today, it will be a book that I have written. I will do an excerpt reading from the book. I will give you the title and description for that book, as well as your options for purchasing the book if you care to do so. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy. Today's book title is The Silent Thin Take, written by Tanya Hunter, published July 31st, 2019. This book is a work of fiction. It is strictly the author's imagination. Thank you. This book is a work of fiction. She thought today was her last day on earth, but what she finds out today is more than she could ever imagine. It contains secrets of her history and past she never knew. She finds out that her mother's past life wasn't what she'd been told. It panned out to be something much different. She ran out of the house planning to go to the nearest auto dealership to purchase a new car. As she was driving, she noticed the sounds of the ocean and decided to pull over to take a look at the water. She jumped out of the car and ran to the ocean, fully clothed and all. Thoughts of her childhood ran through her mind. Then all of a sudden, she grew sad and perplexed. She wondered if it was fate that made her stop at the beach. She began to wonder if it was her destiny. Maybe she was not meant to buy a car today, but to die today, she thought. She continued into the deep water. She continued walking as other thoughts ran through her mind. She thought of how she spent years waking up early to go to school, to get good grades, to earn a college degree, all just to end up in the job she hated, barely making enough money to live. She thought of how she had to borrow $7,500 from her uncle to help her with her tuition. Other thoughts ran through her mind. She remembered being taken on summer vacations with her family, riding on a Ferris wheel and roller coasters. She remembered eating cotton candy, candy apples, and a giant soft pretzel. She remembered how she used to love talking to her mother on the phone every day. Just then she remembered she left her cell phone in the car. Then she thought, why bother turning back for the phone if she was just going to end it all? Then she thought, what if someone finds the abandoned car and think that she had been kidnapped? Then her family and her friends would never know what happened to her. She felt her family deserved to at least know that she was taking her own life and that she was not a victim of foul play. She didn't want her family and friends spending time, energy, or money searching for her. But the water was too deep now, and she had traveled out so far. She did not feel like going back to the car. She just stood there engulfed in the water, gasping for her breath. Flashes of her life continued to run through her mind. She remembered when she had the measles and how the measles spread through the entire family. She remembered how hard her grandmother prayed to keep her alive. Guilt started to enter her mind. She thought that it would be so selfish to die when her grandmother went through so much trouble to keep her alive when she was younger. She wondered if all of her grandmother's efforts were wasted then. But she felt it was too late to turn around now. She could feel the water in her mouth, maybe even in her throat. She thought only if she had her cell phone, she could at least call her twin brother to tell him that she was sorry. Sorry for breaking the promise that she made that they would never leave each other. She and her twin brother had agreed that since they were born together, that they would only be fitting if they were to die together. She wished she had had her cell phone so she could call him to let him know what she was doing and that she was going to die without him. Then she thought, what if he could come to the water and die with her? But it was too late to turn around now. She could feel the water covering her head. She started to smile. She remembered the time that her twin brother went to see her favorite baseball team with her. She remembered how her brother leaned in to catch a foul ball and was popped in the head with the ball. She remembered how scared the entire family was and that her brother was going to die. Her twin brother was rushed to the hospital, and everyone, including the baseball players, gathered at the hospital and prayed for her brother to recover. She began to remember how relieved everyone was when her twin brother opened his eyes for the first time after the accident. She remembered the joy they all felt. She began to feel guilty, but it was too late to turn around now because she could feel the water completely over her head. She smiled because she felt a sense of relief. She began to think about how she tried out for the police academy and made it. She remembered how she changed her mind at the last minute and decided that she wanted to be a news anchor instead. Then she changed her mind again and decided she wanted to become a lawyer. She remembered how angry her father was that she kept changing her mind about her career choice. She remembered how her father told her that no matter what she decided to do, she could live at home with him and her mom for as long as she needed to. All of a sudden, she heard what she thought was thunder. Then she felt a rumble in her stomach. She first thought that she was just hungry. Then she remembered that she had recently had a fertility treatment to get pregnant. She had spent so much money and time trying to get pregnant, but nothing ever worked. She and her partner had suffered so many losses over the years. They made such efforts to get pregnant. Her partner had since left after that. Their last infertility treatment didn't work, but she thought, could it be possible that the last treatment actually did work and that she was indeed pregnant? Now she really began to feel guilty and sad. She thought that it would be so selfish to take her own life along with the life of her unborn child. All of her stress and emotions associated with infertility all just came rushing back to her. She felt that maybe she was doing the wrong thing by dying. She started to remember how she used her internet access blog and networking to help others who were suffering from infertility, especially secondary infertility. She thought her followers with secondary infertility was when a person who had previously been able to conceive and give birth without incident later found themselves unable to either conceive or carry the baby to full term without complications. She began to remember all the people that said she'd helped them through their rough time. She thought that would happen to her. What would happen now to my website and all of my followers? She thought to herself if she entered her life. But it was too late. She could feel the water entering her lungs again. She started to gasp for air. She grew sad. Then she thought to herself how she should have spent more time thinking about getting out of the car and walking to the ocean. She still did not know what made her stop in the first place, because she was on her way to look at and test drive a new car. This is our question and answering session. Okay, so the first question, why did you write this book? Okay, so once again, I thought about this book before I wrote it. I am very creative. I have a very, very vivid imagination, and I like mysteries. I like solving crimes and I like solving mysteries. So I thought that this would be a very interesting book to write as it developed as I was writing it. I didn't know how it was going to end. I didn't know how I didn't know the beginning, middle, or end. I just started writing. I started writing about a young lady in her car driving down, headed somewhere. Didn't know where she was going to end up. So the story just developed as I was writing it. I think that you will enjoy it. Okay, so next question. Who is the intended reader? So the intended reader for this book will be someone who is interested in mysteries as I am, to see how the story develops. There are twists and turns in this story that you would not even believe are there, because as I was writing it, I couldn't believe I was writing it. I was like, oh, so that's what's gonna happen next? Wow, okay. I just kept flowing, and allowing the thoughts to just come, and I was just writing the thoughts as they came. At first, I was like, this doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't go with the beginning of the book. Then I thought about it. I said, well, that's how life is, right? Life gives us twists and turns. Sometimes we go down a direction that not necessarily was the direction that we thought that we were going to go in. So this book is for readers who love mysteries, like twists and turns. Okay, so the next question, is there a digital format for this book? There is not a digital format for this book. However, the book is available in paperback and can be found on Amazon. Thank you today for listening. I hope that you enjoyed the excerpt, and I hope that this answers all of your questions. Thank you for listening to this excerpt today. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Remember to visit me on Amazon.com. Thank you.